So what is going on in your world? I haven't talked to you guys in a while. There's plenty to cover and catch up on locally and around the state, but I know that you guys are already calling in. So let's just do that. If you want to call in and talk to me, 219-845-1100. Let's go to the phone lines. Hey, how are you?
Yeah, I heard you a couple of weeks ago talking about the possibility of moving away from news talk for WJOB, a new regime.
No, that's I think what I don't want to go too deep into it, but we started this JED TV Sports Network, and it was just kind of on a lark. Basically, we had to spend COVID money, and we didn't. We thought it would be a news talk TV station. That hasn't been nearly as popular as the sports has been, and the sports has taken off. And I think the state of Indiana is going to invest in us and a couple other people, and so it's grown pretty wildly. So what we decided to do was take our app and just make it a JED TV Sports Network app. And then Adriana and Joe Cimino and Matt Kaufman started up a YouTube channel. So our news and talk is on YouTube, and our sports is on the JED TV app. And I think that's a little bit confusing. Actually, Walt, I'm rededicating to news and talk, and you guys will notice that there will be some new shows and there will be some new formats, put it that way. So the exact opposite is true. I'm rededicating to that over the next 6 months.
Okay, so we'll be able to listen to you news talk over the WJOB AM 1230 radio, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly AM 1230 is the dominant source that we do, but we're also on 104.7, and then we're also on the TuneIn app. And we're going to have another streaming option also. So the number of people that listen on the TuneIn app is actually grown a lot. And then a lot of people like to listen into the FM stereo. So AM 1230 is still the dominant one, but it's not the only one. We have FM and a bunch of online options, including a lot of people watch it on the YouTube channel where they can comment. And Joe, your job is to watch if anybody comments and tell me what they say. All right? So there it is. Well, I won't confuse you. I'm just telling you, you turn 1230 on and we'll be here, okay?
Okay. This is out of yesterday's Times, the editorial page, a piece by Patricia Murphy from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, which is a very liberal newspaper down in Atlanta. And it's headlined, "The Biggest Losers of Government Shutdown for Now." And she lists three. And the first one are the Democrats. And here she says, "The offer on the table in record days for Democrats is the same one they have asked for time and again in previous funding fights, a short-term extension of government funding at current levels while longer funding deal is negotiated." But unlike past years, Senate Democrats rejected a clean continuing resolution to force a broader conversation on affordable care subsidies, which are set to expire at the end of the year. The subsidies are important to working and middle-class families, but would not be affected by a temporary funding extension. That means that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer insistence that Republicans want to raise health care rates for American families to obscene levels and that they are shutting the government down to do it is not accurate. How about that?
Well, I'm not going to be an expert on this at all. I just know that both of them have the same talking point. And Republicans are saying, hey, we just want to keep the government open, and you guys are holding it hostage for keeping the Affordable Care Act in place. And then Democrats are saying, of course we are, because if we don't, continue this, people are going to die. And there are answers on, I mean, there are arguments on both sides, but I've never heard that it wasn't true, because even I think President Trump has referenced it, says, you know, you're not going to hold us hostage over health care. And so I don't, you know, I don't have any comment on that, but let's just say that that is the issue, that the Democrats won't sign because they don't want, you know, the Obamacare message or methods to go away. I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think that the Democrats are playing the worst kind of politics involving personal interest. In this case, Chuck Schumer is scared to death of the rise of Ocasio-Cortez and the likelihood that she is going to eventually challenge old Chuck, the Chuckster. And it explains why he once, I mean, this seemed to me out of character for Schumer. And that is, he stood on the steps of the Supreme Court building and literally threatened the lives of a couple of the Supreme Court justices that didn't vote about abortion on demand the way he thought it should be done. I was shocked. It seemed out of character for old Chuckster, and I think it's all politics. Fear of Chuck Schumer to losing his job to Ocasio-Cortez, and I'm sure he's even more crazy fear because of the rise of this Amania, the commie, as the Democrat candidate for mayor of New York City. I think it just shocks Schumer to his bones to see a man as so far to the left as this Democrat candidate is. I mean, here's a guy who, when asked, how are you going to pay for all the free stuff you're talking about, free public transportation, free this, free that, and his response was, well, I'll pay for it by taxing rich people and the white areas. Whoa. A blatant racist remark.
Well,
he's got away with it.
What you're doing is common on both sides right now, in my mind, in that there is a major issue. I mean, if you kind of boil it down, you boil it down to the government is shut down. And by the way, I got a flying story to tell you about coming back from South Carolina, but I'll get to it later. Just a delay after delay because of, you know, not enough people there. But there is a major issue. Is like, one, should the Democrats be holding the government hostage over health care, Obamacare? And then the second part is, you know, should the Republicans, pretty much got a lot of what they've already wanted, should they relent on that? And the biggest talk that I've been reading is that both parties are looking for an off-ramp. Like, how could we get off of this without, looking that bad? Because we're in the 10th day right now. I flew back from South Carolina yesterday. From what I understand, Walt, it's not so much that they can't get the planes to take off and land with all the air traffic controllers who aren't getting paid and are working for nothing, so they're taking sick days, a lot of them. It's the ground problems. In other words, how do you route them across all of the, especially at big places like O'Hare, and how do you get them in and out of the gates, and how do you get them in line? I mean, that takes a lot of people. Landing and taking off, once they're in position, they can get that done. So your delays are pretty bad. I flew back from Myrtle Beach last night in record time of 1 hour and 30 minutes. And then how long did we sit on the tarmac waiting for a gate? 1 hour and 30 minutes. And I talked to the flight attendant. She's just like, this is how it is now. There aren't any air traffic controllers. There's not enough, and they can get the air traffic okay, but it's the ground traffic that's a problem. So there's a lot of people looking for off-ramps. But to me, you concentrate on the issue. Is like, should the Democrats be holding a government hostage? They have no power. This is the only power they have. And then the Republicans on the other side is like, dude, you got pretty much everything you want. All you got to, they're looking for a little bit of an off ramp to give the Obamacare subsidies and not look like they lost. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, there are real issues here of people's health care, and there are real issues of people that work for the government. And these are real issues. Some of the other stuff, I find that people just try to get sidetracked, and I think that's what you're bringing up right now.
Well, to me, it's pretty clear that the Democrats are rejecting, and Schumer's rejecting a program that he has advocated himself many times before. And that's the core of it. I mean, the Republicans keep saying there's nothing negotiated. It's a continuation of what the Biden administration did. And it's just to give us a couple of weeks to get us to the point that we can sit down and talk about these other issues.
Well, I mean, believe me, I saw it firsthand. And anyways, I think that we're all frustrated. I could hear it in your voice. I was certainly frustrated sitting on a tarmac with my wife waiting for me. It's tough. And I was reading yesterday, and I don't know, I think Yahoo News, that if anything was going to bring us to our knees and end the government shutdown, that the air traffic controllers could be the biggest impetus of that. All right, man. Thanks a lot, Walt. 219-845-1100. I don't have your mic's not on. You gotta turn that on.
The thing is just the buttons, man. Okay, so I've been flying a lot back and forth from Connecticut recently, so I kind of get what you're experiencing. But I flew out of Velo is the name of the air flight, and they fly through like the international area, and I go on there. We fly to Connecticut. I fly into New Haven, I think, and it's pretty seamless both ways. I never get stuck on the tarmac in O'Hare, and I've gone probably like 3 or 4 times since this.
Have you gone in the last 9 days?
Huh?
Have you gone in the last 9 days?
Not 9 days, but
yeah.
The week before.
Evidently, in the last 2 to 3 days, all these air traffic controllers are like, dude, I'm working my ass off. I'm not getting paid. And they're like, well, I might as well take some sick days. They all probably bank them. And I don't hold anything against them. There's a lot of people like, oh, you need to be on the job. So if they have the less air traffic controllers, I saw it firsthand. They can get them up in the air and they can bring them down. It's just they can't route them. And this is, people aren't going to stand for that, especially if they got to fly places. All right, man. Did you see this? All right, I want to just remind people that there are new videos. Are we able to get any of those up?
Yeah, I have.
We got a nice relationship with the Times. As a matter of fact, Joseph Pete is on next. We're going to talk about his book in a minute. The new videos appear to show ICE arrests in East Chicago. Multiple videos. East Chicago leaders say city had no role in the ICE operation. 2 men wearing police vests and black face masks took a man in handcuffs from the foyer of an East Chicago bakery Thursday and placed him in an unmarked silver car. Video taken by the bakery's owner and verified by the Times shows. I don't know if Joe wrote this article. Michael Howie wrote it in the Times. The East Chicago Police Department officials said to the Times they believe the operation was conducted by federal immigration authorities. The East Chicago Police Department was not involved in the incident that occurred this morning at La Rancherita Bakery, said Jose Rivera. Rivera said his department was aware of the video, which has already circulated around social media. Chicago police have no authority over federal agents. We don't know anything about this video, but we are going to show it right now. if I think you'll probably have to play an ad there, Joe, and then we'll play that. In the meantime, there it is. Okay, it looks, all right, I'm going to come over and look at it. Looks like some guys in vests that say police on the back. They are wearing masks or no? Go back, will you? Go back to the beginning of it. Are they wearing, yeah, they're wearing masks, and they're taking him from the foyer of La Rancherita. And it's a pretty clear, and they're taking him out. All right, let's watch the bakery owner follow him out to the car. Now they're getting in just a regular car. It's not even black. It's a silver SUV that looks like that's not even that new, or there's no markings of police. Go back to the beginning of that, will you? From the foyer of La Rancherita. Now, my first question would be, is there some sort of a warrant for this guy that has nothing to do with an ICE raid? And if that is not the case, and he is just being picked up from ICE, what does that mean for Northwest Indiana? The game has changed. The ICE raids have come here. Is that possible? Or is that an isolated incident? All right, let me see what else the Times has to say. I've been away for 4 days, so all right. Our department is here to serve and support our community. Suzanne Sens, owner of La Rancherita on Main Street, said she heard commotion in the entryway. She went over from the counter to investigate and saw a man up. What do you got, another one? All right, let's do it. Here we go. Keep going. All right, go back to the beginning of that, will you? All right. All right, this one's a little clearer. Yeah, that's definitely federal agents with masks on, and that is East Chicago. Yep. And that's all we got, huh? Wow. Let's see another one. All right, here we go. There's the ICE agents, and there's the guy they have in handcuffs, and they're searching him and going through his back pockets and stuff, and he's handcuffed, and that's all we got. Wow. 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 Two things got real, and one is that I sat on a tarmac for an hour and a half because they didn't hear it. Ostensibly, from what the flight attendants were saying, is that there aren't enough air traffic controllers, and there it is, ICE agents in East Chicago, if indeed that is what it is. We are in a new era. Paul Goddard's sending me something here. Hold on. Let me go here. I'll get to it. Statement from Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott. This armed federal ICE agents were observed staging an operation in the parking lot of the Hammond Police Department. Let me be clear, Hammond does not have any agreements or partnerships with ICE that authorize them to use our city's facilities or property for their operations. It is deeply concerning that federal agents would enter and use Hammond's property without permission, especially when the federal courthouse is located just 1 block west of our police headquarters. Upon being notified, city officials immediately informed the ICE agents that they were not authorized to stage operations on Hammond property. To their credit, the agents complied and relocated their operation elsewhere within the city. ICE has come to Northwest Indiana, and you already had a standoff here with Hammond Mayor Tom McDermott. And East Chicago comes out with a statement too. Let me look at that statement again. And they are saying, the East Chicago police, 2 men wearing police, blah, 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 blah. The East Chicago Police Department said they believe the operation was conducted by federal immigration authorities. And here it is from Chief Jose Rivera. The East Chicago Police Department was not involved in the incident. Said they're aware of it, but Mayor Anthony Copeland, Rivera said that the department remains committed to protecting the rights and safety of residents. Here's Rivera. This is pretty pointed. Our department is here to serve and support the community, not to participate in immigration enforcement.